let's get on to phase 2 of this 5-lug swap that's been blown way out of proportion. So, some stuff came in that wasn't supposed to come in today. The ABS delete kit that I ordered from Valex Racing. Now, I've been having this for a few days. It's a proportional valve I needed for the delete. So, I don't remember, I think it's off of Civic or an Integra or something. I don't remember what it's off of, but I have everything that I need to do it. And it gives you instructions on the front of the packaging on where everything goes. Well, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna pull this cold air intake back out of this car. I'm gonna start ripping the ABS module crap out of here. Get it all unplugged and bolted and out of here. And hopefully it's not too much of a pain in the butt working around that intake to get to the brake lines on the master cylinder. Alright, I've already had one that I let it soak for about 20 minutes and it literally just twists off. I tried grabbing it with the vice grips to see if it would help. It did not help. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use this little torch. I'm gonna heat the fitting up. The ones that were giving me problems. All right. So far I only have one that will not break off on me, and that's this one over here. These might not be savable. I might have to just let them break and redo them, which would absolutely suck, but it is what it is when it comes down to these project cars. I don't think that did any good. I think I may have just crushed the line. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's twisting. It ain't gonna. We're not going to salvage it, old buddy. That sucks. Alright. I think this one might actually be coming out. It is. Thank God. Good. 2 I won't have to redo. I make these brake lines long-winded. It's out. It's just not out. If you catch my drift. There, that's out the way. Flare nut wrench. Dang it. Well, I'm not even gonna play with this one. I'm just gonna get something to cut it because it's gonna twist off anyways. I ain't got much battery left, but I'm gonna show y'all. There's one bolt tucked away down there. There's one right there, I think. I don't know if I can see that or not. Right there where that laser's at. But anyways, and then there's one, I think it's like tucked up under the ABS unit. Good thing is, actually that wasn't even the right bolt I was pointing at. It's this one right there. I know I ain't got much battery left. I'm gonna go ahead and get to these 3 bolts and get this thing out. I'll get back with y'all in a minute. A little bit of battery left. I think I can get this thing out now. This thing weighs an absolute ton. Freaking hell. This thing's the size of a small baby. Look. This ain't no little thing. This thing weighs a ton. Like, it's at least 20, 30 pounds. You know exactly where it's going too. We're gonna throw it in the scrap pile. Right outside the door. Cause I don't think this thing's any good anyways, so I did a little more digging, trying to see what all I needed to do to install this kit. And it looks like I'm gonna be able to take a lot of these brake lines out. Basically, the 2 lines coming off the master cylinder back here, those lines can come off and probably come out. And I think pretty much all these lines over here can borderline basically come out of here permanently. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna start in the wheel wells with the hard, where the hard line and soft line connect, disconnect it there and feed them out of the fenders. Start working my way back to the master cylinder and figuring out what I can get rid of and what I need to keep. I did find a screenshot of a diagram of how this proportioning valve needs to be labeled, so I'm probably going to do that real quick. Clean it off so the Sharpie sticks to it. Yeah, so these 2 lines come off of the master cylinder and go to the proportioning valve. And then these 2 other ones run from the proportioning valve to the 2 front wheels. So that's kind of the gist of this. So with that said, I think I'm gonna get started. This is gonna be so fun with this motor in here. I wish I would have done this. I didn't know I was gonna do this before. I wanted to do this before, but it almost makes me want to go through the pain and effort of taking that intake back out just so I have the room to work back there. But I'm not doing that because that's a lot of work to get that thing out. And I don't feel like bolting it back up. So we're gonna work around it the best we can. So I got this side broke free and loose. Should be this line right here. Might be easier to go into the fender. There we go. All right, so that's 1 line down. All right, got that one done. Making a little progress over here. I got the 2 lines out that went from the ABS module to the master cylinder. Let's get back up in here and show y'all what's going on. So I pulled this bracket off, which was mounted under here under the fuel filter. This was for the charcoal canister. You can actually probably throw that away. And then I pulled there's like 3 or 4 of these, I think. Super rusty and crusty. One of them, the nut broke. The stud actually was seized and broke the stud off at the firewall. I think it was the one under the car that was down there. So now all the lines are loose. So as I get them loose from the proportion valve over here, I can start trying to pull them out So if you look, you can see the proportion valve right down there. Now, so right there. The light drowns out the laser. But anyways, like right there. And that left fitting that looks like it's been backed out some, I've been slowly but surely working on that. Problem is, I couldn't use the flare wrench. I couldn't use the regular 10mm. Luckily, I have a set of crow's feet, and it says once in a blue moon moments where you got to use a crow's foot. So I've been using a 10mm crow's foot, and if you look at it, it's cut kind of like a flare wrench. So it grabs the flare fittings very well, actually. It's just very time consuming. As I get about a half a turn, and then I got to pull it off and reposition it. Oh well. But that's my little update for right now. All right. It took me forever to get that last bracket out of there. And I had to soak it with crawl for a little bit and a couple different ratchets. My arms are all beat up from getting in the freaking behind the intake. If you're doing this and you're pulling the intake or you got the motor out, you do it while you got all that out of the way. This would probably be a 45-minute job, maybe even less, changing everything out, not including bleeding the brakes, if you didn't have the motor and the intake in the way. With that being said, I'm gonna set y'all up real quick and we're gonna yank some of these lines out of here. Let's see what line's what here. So I cut that little half line was, I think it was this one. Is it this one? I think it was this one. The little half line I cut was the front brake for that driver front that I showed y'all on the ground. Problem is they go under the steering rod back here. So navigating them through that's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. There's one. Two. Another. Let's see which one that was. Alright. And one more. And this one should be that one that went to the find it to cut it. This is the one that went to the... Oh, it's sticking out right here plain as day. Let's cut that sucker. Anyways, this is the one that went to the driver front. I cut it once already. Another piece. And that's one. All right. That was way more of a chore than I thought it was going to be. So the only two brake lines that should be left down in here now are the two that go to the rear. Look. Hope if you're not looking at a hose. See, there's one. It's probably hard to tell on the camera, but there's two of them right down there. There's one there and there's one right underneath it. So those should be the two that go to the rear. And junk. Get that one out of my wires. Anyways, the kit comes with a new one for the passenger front, a new one for the driver front, and then two lines coming off the master cylinder. So I'm gonna look at the diagram, get this cleaned up real quick, and figure out what ports are what, and then we'll start. After I get it labeled, I'll show y'all. I'm probably gonna go ahead and put like which ones of these need to go into here. Which one of these fittings need to go in here. I'm gonna go ahead and like kind of put them in there, so I know which ones the hard lines need to go into, from the factory hard lines need to go into. But all right. So I got this screenshot from another guy's channel. He's got a FLRR and FLRRL. I might have to go back and rewatch his video to see which ones he hooked up where. So I went back and rewatched a video that I found last night where I got the screenshot for all this being marked. So he put the rear. This is gonna be like the reservoir. I'm gonna put MCR and MCF, because that's how he had the front port and the rear port like that. So I'm gonna do the same thing as him. My only problem is the way he had his hard lines coming around. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get my rear hard lines in exactly like how he had them, because mine are laying like this. Before we go to routing lines, I wanted to, it said all the 90s should come, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the 90s in the ports and tighten them down. So I shouldn't need to change any of this again. Now I think the only ones I'm kind of curious about, because I'm about to do like that, I might go ahead and put this one in and tighten it, because it's going to be on the bottom. This one I might leave out so I can get to these two. That might not be in the way. I'm going to put it in. If I got to take it out, I'll leave it hand tight. If I got to take it out, I'll take it out later. So, alright, I got that taken care of. Like I said, I'm gonna leave this one loose. I don't wipe the Sharpie mark off. Apparently it don't stay on there too well. I'm gonna go ahead and route this long one here. Put this one in. Hold that, push it in through here. Dang it, I popped the ground off. That ain't nothing better. So that's in. I'm gonna kind of feed it back there behind the motor mount, kind of low and tight, and feed it around to the where the proportional valve goes. All right. So I didn't tighten it up yet, but you can't even see it. I didn't tighten it up yet, but I got the fitting started into the soft line. It comes out of there, which I need to probably just put a rubber hose around because I can't get the grommet back in it. And I'll zip tie it in place. It goes around, goes underneath everything, right on top of the shifter cables right there. And you see it over there. And ended up at its final destination. You see the fitting right there. So I've got plenty of length. I could actually tuck it a little bit more if I wanted to. I could go behind the AC lines if I wanted to, but I don't think that's necessary. I think what got me on the other side was I left this fitting on the hose, and that pushed the grommet through with it. So I'm wondering if I could get it off and I'd have to pull the hose all the way back through. I could probably pull the side I pushed in back out, but I'm gonna go look at it in a second and see what I can do. But let's see here. There we go. And I got both of those started in this side. Now for the fun part, hooking everything up to the proportioning valve. So I'll get back with y'all when I have tripping over all this crap I have laying on the floor right now. I'll get back with y'all once I got the proportional valve in there and hooked up, and I'm gonna revisit that grommet real quick probably. I went to go see what I could do about that grommet on that brake line before I started hooking everything up, and actually it's split. It's supposed to be split in one spot, it's tearing in another, but it was actually on the ground, so it fell out. So that's actually pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back around the hose and pop it back in the fender real quick. So that's one thing taken care of. I ain't gotta worry about chafing that line and losing brakes. There it is. No non-ABS proportional valve hooked up. All the lines are tight. I ended up having to use the adapter right here instead of the banjo fitting because I have the bigger port on this master cylinder. Maybe later I'll change out to one that has equal size ports so I can use both banjo fittings. But everything's good and tight. I even went ahead and did the ones in the fender wells. So now if you're looking at it while I'm pointing the camera down there, you're like, man, that thing ain't done. The proportion valve's just sitting there. Well, I tried. The bolt that I pulled out is too short. I don't know if I have another bolt anyways. And the lines and everything have it in the position where I can't even twist it to even line the bolt hole up. So it's just gonna sit there like that for now. If I ever pull this motor out and which I do plan on eventually, and going through the motor and shaving the bay and repainting everything, doing a legit tear down and build kind of restoration on the car, I'll address it then. I'll make it look a lot more factory and everything. But for now, the lines are not hitting anything. Why didn't y'all tell me I had grease on my face? Anyways, for now the lines are not hitting anything. They're not chafing against anything. They're not hitting the steering shaft or anything like that. So they'll be fine. I actually did end up rerouting this one under the AC line real quick. And I did get that grommet back in right here. Like I said, I went ahead and tightened everything up in the fender wells. So the only thing left to do now is I'm gonna fill this master cylinder with fluid and then start bleeding everything. I'll probably let everything gravity bleed first. But for now, I'm gonna call it quits because multiple things. My lights are dying and my arms are completely tore up from forcing my arms down in that little bitty hole there and behind the intake manifold. Because doing the proportional valve, I literally had to lay on the motor and reach around everything, so I was up in there. It wasn't like I was standing off the side like I've been doing. Major pain in my ass. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Like, there's only so many times your arms and your hair can rub up against rubber hoses and things like that before it starts to hurt. And I've reached that limit right when I was finishing, or before I even finished actually. My freaking arms were starting to really hurt trying to get them in and out. Oh yeah, look how much better that looks with all that gunk in that corner. So this is probably the most consistent I've been at working on something like daily wise in a while. This is day 3 straight of working on this, the brakes, the lug swap, even 4 days in a row now. Today, I'm gonna work on getting all the ABS sensors out, the cruise control out, because that was the only other thing I wanted to delete. That free up a lot of crap on this side and make it easier to like get to your headlight bulbs and different things over here. While I am working on that, I'm gonna start cracking the bleeders on the brake calipers loose so I can gravity bleed them. I'll probably start in the back corner. There's like a regular brake job. Start over there, crack that one loose while I'm doing other little things. Once I see it's bleeding out pretty good, I'll jump to the next one and so on and so forth, right? All right, we're gonna start with this back one first. Oh, it's back here. And all right, now that's open. I'm gonna let that do its thing. One other thing I want to work on, I'm probably not gonna video any of it because I gotta go find my grease first. Is this car has full energy suspension bushings front to rear, but the rear ones, for whatever reason, I'm guessing because there's no grease left on them or there was never any grease installed with them, squeak so bad and creak really bad whenever you're just driving around, just the slight bumps and making suspension flex and everything. So I'm gonna take care of that hopefully today. If not today, then I'll take care of that tomorrow. But let me get 10 millimeter on a ratchet and we'll start taking all the ABS stuff off. Get rid of that. All right. 1 ABS sensor down. 3 more to go. Oh yeah, just not having that bracket right there looks that much better. Now we just gotta do the one on this side. This also shares a ground. Number 2. This is the easy part. This is definitely the easy part of this whole thing, taking the damn sensors off. I'll tell you that. All right, now we just gotta do the 2 back ones. Break that master cylinder cap loose. So what I can see under here, we gotta take these 2 out, and there's one right here, and I gotta find the plug inside the car. So Come on, man. And last but not least, of course, that one's facing the freaking exhaust. This side's a lot harder to get at these bolts on. This sucks. Alright. Last two ABS sensors in the pile. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the cruise control delete. Should be pretty straightforward. Remove the module, take the throttle cable off of it, and plug the vacuum ports. That's what I did on my 3rd gen years ago. That's what had me. Power steering hose. There's like a vacuum module in here to help it hold vacuum, like a canister. So I could probably just pull that one hose back through, not worry about it. Yeah. And unbolt it. It was 2 10mm, and then the plug to get it out this far. Then you got right here, you got this one vacuum port, which goes to this hard line right here. Don't know what this is. I'm gonna leave it alone for now until I figure out what this is. The next thing, I guess I'm gonna crawl under the dash again and see if I can't get this steering line loose from inside the car. I don't remember exactly what I did on my old car. I was able to get the cable loose from the pedal inside, but the little plastic piece on the firewall back here that the cable runs through, I couldn't get to the clips on it. So I chose the path of least resistance, and I cut the cable. Plus, it would have left a big old hole in the firewall, and I didn't want a whole bunch of cold air and stuff coming through there. Last thing I gotta do is disconnect this line from this T, and this will be out of my way. And then I'm gonna come up in here, and this, where that vacuum canister's at, and I'm probably gonna just pull that line back through. My battery died a minute ago, and I decided to do some picking up and cleaning up, and I put the intake back on, and actually I also discovered that the bracket for that evap control system has the same like shape as the back of this overflow tank. So that saved me a lot of headache in trying to fabricate something. I just kind of bent it to the way I needed it. The hose is a little on the short side, but it'll be all right. I would have liked to have mounted it like right here more like, but this will be fine for the time being, because I mean, you can still get to it and it can still do its job. So that's out the way now, and that's gonna be dangling. As I was showing y'all before, cruise control and everything's out. I did hook up the ground back up, picking up, cleaning up, and I hooked this ground back up. I kept looking at this module. I was like, huh. And oh yeah, I got to put the vacuum line right here for the cruise control. Well, I started looking, and I have this, whatever this is, I have the end of it already blocked off here. So it got me to doing some Googling and an image search on Google. Found out that's an EGR control valve. I don't know. Some things are missing, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna delete this module right here and get it out of here and these lines out of here real quick. Don't you just love finding out you can just delete things? There we go. With this out the way, I got these two open ports. What I'll do is I'll just, well, that one fits here. There. Now that made even more of a difference, not having all this there. Get rid of this too. I'll get that off in a second. But my wife came out here and helped me a little while ago, bleed the brakes with the cardboard, trying to suck up some of the brake fluid that's everywhere. And I used an old rag to pick up some in the rear on one side. It really wasn't that bad. I think I did like 5 or 6 releases on all the way around. I went around and did like 2 or 3 more each. I did 1 more pass after that, let me rephrase that, where I did 2 to 3 more releases of fluid. That sounds terrible. Bleeding the brakes really wasn't that bad. I did break the bleeders loose on the initial go around like 5 or 6 times. And I got the rear, driver rear, I didn't really get any air. Passenger rear, I got a little bubble. Of course the fronts, I got a lot of air out of them. And then I got more air out of the driver front one on the second pass. And on the second pass, I broke the bleeders loose 2 or 3 more times. My wife said the pedal felt solid inside the car, so we'll see what happens whenever we take it. I'm gonna take it up and down the driveway a few times and down the little road in front of my house before I take it out on the main road, make sure everything feels good. I do need to order a couple bottles of Honda power steering fluid as it's low. And when I get it running, I'll be able, and out of here, or while it's still in here maybe, I can see if the AC works. I ain't even checked that yet. My buddy said that whenever he bought the car, he's pretty sure it worked. Last 2 things I gotta do exterior wise of this car. I'm gonna sand down and re-clear these nasty faded headlights. I got something on both of them and I tried cleaning it off. This one I didn't even bother trying. And the other last and final thing is this rear window seal, which I've done kind of, I mean, it looks really good. I put these 2 new seals on here. They're not made for this car. They're not made for this. They're just some universal seals I bought off Amazon. One's a little softer than the other, but they sit pretty tight whenever you push it down. And when the trunk lid's closed, the trunk lid pushes against this one on the outside and kind of makes it sit even harder against the glass, right? But I do have to cut some foam to go around here, and I do plan on kind of cleaning up the squares where the foam sits and kind of spraying some primer because they're starting to rust. So that's gonna be it for today. I'll catch y'all in the morning. I'm filthy, I'm tired. All right, so today is the day we finally putting some wheels on the Prelude. I just gotta take the battery out of it and put it in that. Let me get some Allen wrenches. We'll undo the terminals on the Prelude battery because it has these fancy brass terminals. It's like it was metric. It's being overrun by not a good type of creature. I'm about to get a broom and I'm gonna take care of some of these spiders under here real quick. She's a little less spidery. She's probably still full of spiders. That's what the terminal is. Yeah. And this is a much smaller battery in this car than. Are you kidding me? They're different sizes. There we go. It fits on there a little bit. I think it's just because of the. Yeah, you gotta use the box in. That's what it is. There we go. I think that's probably the most painful about this car. Biting the bullet like it did. Starting to mix the oil and the coolant and everything. Was that weekend before I just changed this fluid filled motor mount on the passenger side. Because it was like, oops, wrong loosened. It was like this god awful like noise it was making when I would shift real hard and stuff. What happened was the motor mount broke and the stud was out of the motor mount, like twisting the engine. So that's definitely nothing good. Yeah, the paint on the battery tray is gone. Tells me it's definitely been leaking. Oh yeah, it'll fit just enough to do what we got to do. Yeah, she sounds rough. And there we have it. I didn't give them a real wash. I just rinsed them off and wiped them down with a microfiber towel. The car needs a bath anyway, so I figured, you know, this is good enough until I wash the car. I mean, they look amazing just from doing that. Just a wipe down. Forget how bright these wheels are. Might be a little bit of clash of the silvers between them and the car, but we'll see. Let's get them inside and get them on the car real quick. There you have it. I'll take it outside and get a better shot of it, but it looks pretty good. Fitment looks really good. You know, The 5-spoke looks really good on this car. Let me get this RSX out of here and we'll take it down the driveway. I did notice one thing, and I don't know how I'm gonna stop it, but it still squeaks. And it's obnoxious. I really don't know what to do about that. Yeah. All right, let me get this other car out of here. Man, I missed this fitment right here. Got a little hiccup to the idle. I think it just needs the tune to be done on it. Sorry, little dragon. It's the end of the dragon's reign. Other than being completely filthy right now because all the dust and dirt that's on it from being in the shop, she actually looks really good. I can see the back wheels cocked in real bad. Both of them are. And I need to adjust those rear tie rod arms, I guess. Because I can feel it walking around on the road. But other than that, the 5-lug swap is done. Everything's done up to this point mechanically besides an alignment, which I'm gonna take care of that and later. So in the next little video, there's gonna be polishing. We're gonna be not polishing. On the next video, we're gonna re-clear the headlights. We're gonna finish the interior, redo the battery hold down, and finish that rear window trim. I'm working on some clips for it. But we're gonna get all those last few things finished up on this car. Appreciate y'all watching. If you like all the content on the Prelude, it'd be greatly appreciated if you hit the like and subscribe button. So obviously I got more content coming on it, and I got a few other projects. I got the F-150 I gotta finish. I gotta get back on and get it done by next March. So it's gonna be crunch time between here and March to get that thing done. And I have another project I'm gonna be working on here and there throughout time with alongside of it. So greatly appreciate y'all watching. Tune in for the next one. Thank you.